In our first three, for the most part, we've played the tempo that we want to play. But I want to say two of the three, I think, for the most part, wanted to play the same way, so it made it a little bit easier. We'll face so many defenses moving forward that, first of all, higher level defenses, of course, starting Friday. But other defensive game plans and strategies, and people know we're gonna try to be up tempo. We are, but to what tempo that means remains to be seen based on the opponent. I can't imagine. I think we're top one or two or three today in the country, and be hard to sustain that for sure in our league. But we know that playing in the open floor, trying to create some turnovers, we've got speed rather, switchability, we've got depth, not overly big, and so we want to play pretty fast, and we're going to play some other teams too that want to play fast.
3 games in, what do you feel like you've learned about this group?
We're about what we thought we'd be, honestly. Both offensively and defensively. We confirm the fact that we've got work to do on the defensive glass. It's our glaring deficient number that we started talking about really in June. And honestly, even today in practice, we're not great in that area. And so we've got to find a way creatively or through personnel or through changing some things up in practice at times to help our guys on the defensive glass.
Speaking of which, the defensive glass, I mean, when you kind of go from a smaller team, you kind of know that was going to be a deficiency, though, doesn't it kind of lead to that a little bit? Or?
Yeah, definitely. How we're playing offensively and defensively, and the lineups that we've got out there don't speak to physical prowess, as opposed to last year's team. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum. Last year's team, thought we'd be very good defensively. I thought we could be a lead on the glass, and offensively, we were going to have to try to figure it out, and that's kind of who we were. So again, we're about what we thought we'd be, but there's no excuse not to find a way to be markedly better than we've been on the defensive glass, and to beat teams like Georgia Tech. You're going to have to do that. Boy, they play some big lineups. They're long, they're athletic, they're really skilled. Their bigs pass the ball really well. They can block shots. They can turn you over. They can pressure you the same way. So, we've got some similarities, and so it'll be a high-level game. We anticipate. We're excited about it.
What do you think of the 9 o'clock tip for this game? I know you guys play several 9 o'clock games this year.
Yeah. That's what it is. I just soon play at 9 a.m., As coaches, we always laugh about coaching's great, but game days are rough. You're just sitting there waiting for the ball to be tipped. You're so anxious all day. But be good for our fans, though, that hopefully by 9 we can have this place packed.
Kowalski's the guy you go back a ways with.
Yeah.
What do you feel like he has brought to that Tech team, and what stands out about him this year?
I'm sure everybody there appreciates who he is, as a person, and great personality, great person to be around. Got it off the court's always got a smile on his face. He can really shoot it. He's developed his game over time. He's become better in all areas, and he's had a really good career.
How big of a test is this after the teams you guys played in Week 1 to have an ACC team come in and kind of measure yourself up?
Yeah, it's important, for us to continue to grow. But if we had a couple more mid-majors before Georgia Tech, I wouldn't be complaining either, But both of us will learn more about each other Friday night for sure. And it's so early that both of us have time. We're urgent, right? We're urgent. We want to be as good as we can be right now, but it's just not realistic. But we'll learn more about each other and ourselves on Friday.
What 2 or 3 players on your team really kind of showing you a lot right now and what they're able to do?
We've got really good depth, right? And a lot of contributions in these first 3 games, but now it's different, right? It's a high-level opponent. It's a rivalry game. who knows who will be really good on Friday night? I hope a number of guys. So to be honest, if you're asking me about shooting, I'd probably pick 2 or 3. Pressuring the basketball, I'd pick 2 or 3. I'll just pick one category, probably from a leadership standpoint, from an ownership, intangible standpoint. Blue Kane and Justin Bailey have stepped up a little bit. Dylan James has been really good. Those guys are super consistent and work and represent, how we want to carry ourselves on a daily basis as well as anyone. But we've got a number of guys that I'd put in that category. Those 3 just jump out.
And Justin, that just kind of his age, his experience that he's had, playing before, it kind of allows him to kind of accept, to do that, even though he's a new guy.
Yeah, just really competes and cares. Bought into what we're doing. It just plays really hard. He's and we've got a few of those guys. We had a few last year that and so we needed some replacements in that area. We're skilled. We've got to rebound it better. We can turn you over. But the teams that are going to be in the upper half of the SEC, which is where we want to be, right? They're going to play really, really hard, and they're going to be connected. They're going to be mentally and physically tough, and he represents a lot of that.
Like when you look at the final stats of Sunday team early, kind of be different later on, but the senior team with 13, 14, 15, 16 steals a game, just
Yeah.
shows that major, it shows how gratifying that is.
Well, our guys are flying around, and they're playing hard, and Georgia Tech does the same. We need to give up less of those possessions, though, in the defensive glass. And we need to create more on the offensive glass, too. That's probably another area I haven't talked about as much. But our guys, they know, and we're bought in, but are you really, really bought in? Are we ready to make that jump, in those couple categories? You got to be really good at practice tomorrow.
Going back to Colossi, have you kept in touch with him from that season?
No, it's different in this portal era, where, we're not, these guys on different teams throughout college basketball. You just kind of have to stay at arm's length, right, until their careers are over, as much as you want to continue relationships. But we're also busy with our own guys too, and with recruiting and all that. But he's a guy that I've been fond of, as a kid more so. He's a young man now, but he was probably 14 or 15 when we started recruiting him. Got a great family, and again, proud of the career he's had. Happy for him.
What's it like to see your team score 106 points a game average?
Not holding my breath because I don't know how long we're going to maintain that, right? It'd be tougher against higher level competition, but it's better than the alternative, against those mid-major teams. We're scoring it easier as we anticipated. What I like most of all with respect to our offense in the last one is that our shot selection just went from probably a D to a B+ in a hurry. And we can't revert when playing against taller, bigger, longer, athletic guys that are locked in a high-intensity game like it's going to be Friday night. We've got to, if our tempo takes a huge step backwards, so be it. We need good shots, and sometimes we're going to have to probably play to late clock. At least examine what we can get at times against a higher level defense in those first 20 seconds. So coming off that last one, though, I like the way that we shared it, though, and our shot selection improved, which is a good sign moving forward.
One more question, Coach.
I was going to ask, obviously you have a couple of freshmen that are looking to move back right away. As it relates to 2026,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's going to be a spring signing deal, or is anyone in your early career going to be
Not anyone right now we anticipate signing, but things could change. But we anticipate being pretty busy in the spring, and we'll start with this roster and see where it goes from there.